Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
Stress or conflict.
Allegedly, a fisherman can hear the calm before the storm. They say it sounds like a C flat.
Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast, and every single week we choose a popular saying and take an admittedly shallow, hopefully comedic, once in a while interesting, and if we're really lucky, educational dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins. But mostly we're going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is Jurassic Mark.
And I am Skinny.
Did you feel that roll off the tongue?
There
was no stuttering.
It's like you haven't.
There was no hiccups.
Have you been practicing?
I went into... I think it's, taking a break, a little vacation.
A break.
I learned
What break
today
are you talking about?
On a podcast about mini retirements. Have you heard of this?
I like it.
Yeah. So this is obviously coming from people who are financially much better off than us. Have you ever heard of the book, The 4-Hour Work Week, or the book, or the whatever it is? So it's those kind of guys.
Like being French or Greek?
So instead of like retiring at the age of 65, like slaving away and then enjoying the last 10 or 15 years of your life, it's doing better in general, so that you're like, you know what, I'm going to take 12 months off. And then you come back to work thriving and energetic.
12 months off would be significant.
Yeah.
I've taken 2 months off once. When we had a baby.
Well, you deserved it.
Yeah. It stretched the crap out of me. Yeah. I mean, like, my abilities, Yeah.
Your abilities
as
were
a
stretched?
father. As a person.
Yeah.
And that sleeplessness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what did 2... I've never had 2 months off. Well, I'll correct that in a second. What did 2 months feel like?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Well, I have this thing where you, like, when you go on
Were
holidays.
you like, after 1 week, like, I got 7 to go.
Well, it's not untrue. And by saying that, I think you probably agree that those going on holidays, it takes a few days to unwind.
Totally.
And then you're like still engaged.
And depending on your job, you've got extra work to even be away. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's the stress. And just before you come back, 2 or 3 days before you come back, you're like, you start thinking about all the stuff you have to do when you get back.
But what about the 2 days before that?
Amazing.
Right. So it's almost like
it's an amazing sandwich.
That's not what I was thinking.
Except 2 months long.
An amazing sandwich. What's it sandwiched by?
Well, the amazingness is the filling. And so you don't say a peanut butter sandwich and go, well, tell me about the bread.
Oh, I see.
You say it's an amazing sandwich. It's a peanut butter sandwich.
That's a good point. But that 2 days before the 2 days. So the 2 days before you come back.
You want to talk about the bread? You're
already in bread mode.
I'm in the bread by then.
Right. So 2 days before that, you would almost say it's kind of like
Guys, relax. This is just the calm before the storm.
It's the stillness right before you go back to the storm. Little Owen Wilson. Giving us today's idiom, the calm before the storm, which was unintentional intro using your 2-month vacation to...
It wasn't this year. It was like 15 years ago. Almost 16 years ago.
Oh, really? Because you're still showing.
Yeah, a little bit. I actually didn't lose the baby weight like I thought I would.
I only make that joke because I wanted to beat you to it. I feel like that was coming out of your mouth.
I had someone on Sunday just put their arms around me and go, hey, you need to lose a little weight.
No.
For sure. I don't disagree. I could take it right on the chin because I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I've been hitting the ice cream a little hard this summer.
Well, you know what got me to lose, although I've gained it all back, but back in the day when I lost all the weight. No, it was my son wrapping his arms around me and go, you're fat. Just say it like it is. And I'm like, all right. That was it. That was actually
the straw.
Guys are
so brutal, eh?
That broke the camel. Yeah, seriously.
Girls, no, you're just beautiful. Don't let anyone tell you.
Nobody
you're
means
a queen.
It. Nobody means
you're
it.
You're a 10. Yeah, guys.
10. I'm the 0
dude.
in the 10. The big round 0 in the number 10.
Okay.
We want to be the 1 in the 10.
So I don't know if I told you that we were on a Hawaii trip, not this summer, in summers past, and my kid got dragged out by the surf was dragging him out like rolling with the waves and going back and back.
Oh, that's freaky.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's getting at that spot where I should intervene, do something about it. And so I get myself out there, and like I'm not like a swimming person. I'm more like the manatee side of swimming persons.
So
I get myself
like a
out
swimming
there.
person.
So I get
a lot of people call those swimmers. You could have just said I'm not a swimmer.
Well, not all persons who swim are able to swim.
Oh, I see. Persons of swim persons. Swimming persons. I see what you're doing.
Yeah. persons of swimming.
Anyway, you went out there.
And I get him, bring him back a little closer so that it's not as treacherous. Get myself back. The lifeguard goes, "Looks like you need to do some road work, bro. Like I need to get out and jog or something." Just the lifeguard randomly.
Like walking by or over the loudspeaker?
No, just walking by. Sees me like
road
panting.
work.
Looks like you need to do a little road work, bro.
I've never heard the term road work.
I'm pretty sure it means you need to jog. Isn't what
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's its own idiom. I thanked him.
Did it make a difference in your life?
No, I didn't do any road work. But anyways, it was that calm before the storm.
Calm before the storm, right before you come back to the of course, calm before the storm as an idiom is figuratively used, a phrase that calm before the storm, meaning a period of peace that occurs before a time of stress or conflict.
Allegedly, a fisherman can hear the calm before the storm. They say it sounds like a C flat. Yeah.
That's actually great.
Yes. So there is this moment before it all hits the fan where it is nice, and
Yeah.
that's called summer, and then September happens, and September is the storm.
Right. For especially people with chillins going back and
Collision of events that
yeah, everything all at once.
It's good.
And depending on your job, sometimes the fall is a big kickoff for a variety of things.
absolutely love it.
So this I hope you enjoyed your calm before the storm, and now it's all beginning.
So speaking of storms, been camping a ton.
Yeah. Did you go through a storm?
Well, it's been raining this last weekend. We had dodged most of it, but it was like still a little chilly, and they still have the fire ban on, but it's been raining.
Right.
And so I was wondering if they're like, so I had a tree come down a few years ago, and so I have all this firewood beside my house that I want to burn, and so I have the wood. I need the heat, but you can't have the fires.
You're lucky you have a real fireplace, because I don't think they allow.
I can burn it in there.
Oh, you can?
I think so.
Oh, what are you talking about? Backyard?
No, like camping.
Oh, you want to take it with you?
I want to take it with me.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and have some fires.
Oh, yeah. That's
Save some
frustrating.
money because they it's either propane.
Yeah, that's what I did when I went camping.
It's like firewood doesn't fall off trees,
I safely used my propane fire bowl while throwing the empty cardboard stuff into it.
You just made it a fire pit,
Yeah.
anyways. It was like ash floating from it.
Pretty much.
It's propane. Are there real logs burning on top of your propane fire?
This is a propane fire.
It's
That's
not
the
wrong.
Answer. That's the answer
It's
every
not
time.
wrong.
Yeah. I'm glad you. But you didn't have a major storm coming through, like one of those terrible camping experiences.
No, nothing too bad. It's been a pretty fantastic summer, actually.
Good.
Yeah.
The only time
I feel refreshed. Vitamin D.
I was trying to think of an example that I could think of. This,
Or like
of
vitamin
course,
double D'd. I got chunky on the
for yourself.
I got
Okay.
ice cream up there.
Did you go to the usual ice cream stomping ground daily?
Twice a day.
Yeah, twice a day.
Twice a day.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's pretty good ice cream though,
It's delicious.
and just the experience of where it is and whatever.
It's not good. I need to buckle up or
I was trying to think of
get an extended buckle or something. Whatever people do.
buckle up, as in I need more holes on my belt for my
I need to
buckle to
buckle
work.
down. Yeah, my mouth.
I was trying to think of an example of the calm before the storm, and I couldn't think of one in my personal life that was idiomatic, but I thought of one for real, and I'm almost positive I've told this story on here before, but years and years ago, visiting Venezuela, we were working with people down there, and we had this sort of off day. It was technically a work day, but it was a pretty casual work day. So we were playing soccer with a bunch of kids and teens out on this enormous soccer field. And that would have been the calm before the storm. Like we were having the time of our lives. And then all of a sudden it started to rain. But Venezuela has dry season, wet season. So it's kind of the same temperature year round. But you're getting wet, you're not cold. It's like, it's kind of nice. And everybody kept on playing. And then the water started to stay on the field. So you're it's not sinking into the ground
It stops
anymore.
absorbing it after a certain
and
point.
it's like, there's an inch of water on
This
the field.
not brought to you by Downey.
Yeah, so the ball is now skipping like a stone. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
boom, boom. And so, but everybody we're looking at each other, us Canadians, going, "This seems like a lot of rain." But everybody just kept on playing. So we're like, all right. So we kept on playing. And I would say it
Waist
doubled
deep. It's water polo.
to 2 inches. And everybody kept on playing. And we're like, this is not soccer anymore. And then somewhere, without warning, people started running. And we're like, I guess we're running.
It crossed some threshold.
So whatever between 1 inch and 3 inch, somewhere in there was time
That's
to run.
dangerous.
And
The snakes start coming out?
No joke. We went through a flash flood where back in the car, people, houses, restaurants, stores, immediately sandbags like 4 feet high outside their building. Like they're just ready to roll with this. And we were driving down roads where the water was up past the handle on the door.
That's crazy.
And you just don't stop. And so yeah, and you're seeing
Giant
crazy
anaconda.
things going down the road.
crazy.
Like we just came up this road and it was dry. Now it's 2.5 feet, 3 feet of water.
People surfing.
And so even like one of the guys like, take my picture, and he runs out there. At that point, it was like mid calf high.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, take it. He's angry because whatever's being just ripped out of people's yards and storefronts is hitting him underneath the water.
Oh, you can feel it.
Yeah, it's just like bang,
Ow.
bang, bang.
2x4.
All bruised up. But yeah,
Plywood.
that would have been the calm before the storm. A nice soccer game with Venezuelan kids, and then run for your lives.
That's crazy.
So it's one of those things where you lived through it, everybody's fine. As far as I know, no lives were taken, and now it's a great story. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad I have that day to remember. But there was a moment of you're kind of looking at the people who live there. Like, should we be afraid, or are we all good?
I don't know. Terror is a good thing.
Terror
for
is.
putting a memory together. Yeah.
Oh, you
Like that, because it was terror. Like that, you're like, is this the day
Right.
that we all die?
if you have a specialty in something, you're a specialist. Mm-hmm. If you enjoy terror, what are you? I'm trying to think if there's a word for that. But anyway,
there is.
you
I'll tell
enjoy
you
you enjoy
afterwards.
terror, do you?
Yeah. Yeah, there is. I'll tell you later.
All right.
Well, when I started looking up storm, it's funny how it's a war word.
The calm before the storm?
Like storm, just things that. Like,
Sure.
Yes, like the move of much
Storm and
military.
Norman Schwarzkopf.
There you go. Didn't even think of that
Yeah.
one. Which was, what was that? That was Desert Storm.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so this storm analogy that a storm is coming.
Right.
And so I came across this amusing, I thought it was amusing anecdote regarding storms. What do you call a guy who goes from storming Poland to looking after someone's animals? A veterinarian.
Veterinarian. Oh, wow.
There you go.
It's like, I don't get it. Wow. That's hilarious.
I know. I thought like, I have to share that.
I was trying to work the word Hitler into a Hitler.
A veterinarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. There's just not enough.
Not enough Hitler jokes.
Aryan jokes. Just not enough time has passed. But yeah. So the storm is this barrage of like cataclysm is coming for you.
Yeah. And
Storm of artillery.
the calm before the storm, I tried to find an example that wasn't. There was a lot war related and news current event related, but I tried to find one because we use it in everyday language, and so this is one I came on. The entire family converges on the farm each Christmas season. They arrive tomorrow, so I'm going to spend today enjoying the calm before the storm. So it's not war, but the craziness of Christmas and relatives moving in. You can enjoy the final day before they all show up.
There you go.
Right, and there's sometimes an eeriness, like that calm, like is something about to happen. It's like when you have kids and they're too quiet.
Right, there's something happening.
Oh
that's like,
no!
What are they into?
I'm enjoying myself too much with my cup of coffee here, and then you open the door.
Right,
It's like no!
it's the disagreement with the spouse, and then things start to calm down, but you're not quite done with the argument. So then you say, "Calm down."
They love that.
They love that. Oh, that goes over so good. So when things like illegitimate children, you're out there, you're in an argument with somebody and things are starting to de-escalate, just say, calm down.
Like while it's like not
Yeah,
at that
just-
not at the peak of it.
Because you're not quite done yet. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
As it starts to
That's
de-escalate
great.
and pull down.
I missed that
you're
detail.
like, yeah, then you're like, you just need to calm down.
It's like that scene from Anger Management.
They love
Calm down,
that.
sir. Calm down. What is it with you guys?
You guys. Yeah, that's a funny one.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's...
Calm Before the Storm. We should actually probably find out where it actually comes from.
Oh, I'm not ready for that.
Okay, well, it's got to come from somewhere. It just didn't invent itself.
I was gonna give you 3 choices as we often do, but I just felt like this time it was
Seems like it's on the nose.
yeah. So let's find out anyway, shall we?
Said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
Calm Before the Storm, and then I whacked my microphone, sent it flying. All right, let's take a little dipsy doodle into the. That's how you know you're cool, when you got cool phrases like dipsy doodle.
My wife takes a lot of teasing for her old timey
Like what? What does she got? What's
fiddlesticks.
that? Is great.
That's a good one. Yeah. That people comment on. Yeah.
Kind of. Is that just because that's what you heard growing up?
Yeah. They didn't use swears. So fiddlesticks is a
Yeah, my family didn't.
fiddlesticks.
So this has nothing to do with today's podcast, but
Let's talk about it next week.
the ones I remember, my dad saying, if he was like really upset, bullpucky.
Oh, he must have really been choked
If
at
that was
point.
really BS, it was bullpucky. That's a bunch of bullpucky.
He must have been choked at that point.
So as you might have guessed, the calm before the storm started as a phrase that sailors use.
Wowie.
Yeah, they would obviously be referring to actual weather phenomenon that they observed at sea, and they noticed that just before a major storm, there would be a calm. The air around them seemed to be very still, even the waves. So you're not, hilarious joke, but truth is the sea was flat. Like there'd be a weird calm for a few moments. Then the clouds would gather. They'd hear the first bit of thunder, and it became so common that you could predict a storm. Well, within a few minutes. Mm-hmm. I can predict a storm within a few minutes, I think.
Yeah. Get everyone. It's like you see crap flying around.
So
I think a storm's coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not to go too far down the
There is a smell when just that beginnings of
that
rain.
new rain smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
We don't get that often here because we get so much rain.
it's always raining.
Yeah.
So.
But I know exactly. It's almost like a dusty, wet dust sort of. Yeah.
It's an actual smell.
So I don't want to get too sciencey, but there is some truth to the calm before the storm. So it's important to know that warm air is kind of a fuel for a storm, is the way this article I pulled up read it. As a storm moves in, it pulls warm, moist air from the surrounding atmosphere. The warm, moist air travels through the clouds, up through the clouds. It's important to mention that it's traveling up. It cools, it condenses as it feeds the storm, so to speak. Then that air is pushed out of the tops of the storm clouds. Once it's pushed out, the air makes its way back down to the earth. As the air descends, it gets warmer and drier. As it covers an area, tends things to get quiet and calm. That's the calm before the storm. Here's an interesting little tidbit. Sailors might have gotten used to the calm before the storm, but you know who really can detect that is animals. Animals will often take shelter way in advance of an impending storm because they
know
sense
something's up.
They know it. Whatever it
That
is.
natural
It's probably not
barometer.
the calm. They're ahead of the calm. It's probably the atmospheric pressure changes. Who knows what it is, but they take shelter. You won't see them. You won't hear them. So that's another reason why a sailor or somebody else might detect a calm before the storm, because birds and animals and
The
amphibians,
barometric barrage.
they've all gone silent.
the celestial stream.
So they actually add
The atmospheric river.
to the calm by silencing themselves.
We need a new meteorological phrase for this, because there's so many new ones these days with atmospheric river, and
Right.
we need a
That has to do with the calm before the storm?
yes, yeah. I like the word barometric.
So you just like the word?
Yeah,
The red barometric?
the skies. Another kill for the red barometer. No,
The barometers.
Yogi Barometric.
There you go.
I've got...
That's a riddling.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go.
So the reason I said it was important to mention that the warm air goes up, because if that's in reverse and it's coming down, I don't have notes on this. I'm trying to go by memory, but that's what can cause like a cyclone or a tornado, that kind of thing. So
now, isn't there something about cyclones only happen in like the West Hemisphere, and the hurricanes happen on one side, and as soon as it crosses some line, it's a cyclone? I wish I knew more before I open my mouth.
What I read didn't have anything to do with geography. It had to do with the speed of it, and there was something to do with speed and temperature. Now, there's not always a calm before a storm. Often there's thunder or there's wild winds coming through, and then that brings the storm. But there is a truthfulness. There is a science to the calm before the storm. And so, it became... here's something interesting, because I was reading the history of how this was in print. So while you look up the difference between cyclone, hurricane, and tornado, in the 17th century, the metaphor was still fresh, the calm before the storm. It was even mentioned in the 1601 play The Dumb Knight, where it says, "But hush no words, there is a calm before the tempest." And then Alfonso replies, "Tut, tell me of no storms, but direct me to her bedchamber." But they mentioned calm before the storm. Now, what was interesting in the history of this idiom is that they, for the first time, at least the first time that I've noticed in our deep research, is that it goes, they say, here's where it went from idiom or metaphor to trope. And I'm like, so it changed from idiom to trope at a certain point in time. So much so that I doubted my own knowledge as to what the definition of trope is.
Okay.
So how would you define trope? I did look it up.
A group of actors.
An acting trope?
Yes.
Boy Scouts?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
How about with one O in that word?
Like a trop?
Okay. A trope. So an idiom is what we cover every week. An idiom is something you say, or a metaphor. There is a difference between metaphor and idiom, but that's a little more blurring there.
Kind of like a societal,
yes,
like way of like, this is how it is.
Yes,
generalization.
So the calm before the storm this phrase became less of an idiom and a way to describe things, and more of a trope, because it is completely infused to all of North American or English-speaking society, where it's taken on a even bigger meaning than, oh, that means this. It's like, oh no, we say it in advance of something happening. We use it in literature. I don't know. It had to weave itself into social usage deeper than an idiom or metaphor. So this was the first one where I noticed, literary documents where it's like, here's where it became a trope in time, which is obviously in the last, 150 years and not prior to that. But yeah, so that's pretty literal origin story.
On the nose with this one.
Calm Before the Storm. In print, it goes back to 1600s, actually 1601. So it's, very beginning of 1600, but they also pretty much are assuredly saying it existed before that, but way before in print. This has been whatever. And I never came across this, but I also wondered if there was any staying power because of Christian influence and just hearing Jesus calming the storm, like those words being together so much, calm before the storm, Jesus calming the storm, if it had anything to do with the staying power of this idiom.
It has a storm and it has calming, but it's kind of like there was no storm afterwards. So it's just calm.
Yeah.
Calm during the storm. You should write a song.
Yeah.
The calm during the storm.
The .com before the storm.
Mm-hmm. Storm.com.
Storm.com
C-A-L-M.
before.
Storm.com C-A-L-M.
Oh.
Yeah, a whole nother .com thing. Tranquility Market.
Right?
.com.
I think you're onto something.
Yes.
This is the 4-hour work week we've been talking about.
We need. So it's just like, because they have like countrythings.ca for us, and so everything that's related to like wellness.
They've got .church.
.com.
Yeah.
Oh, I get my acupuncture. It's at acupuncture.com.
I like it.
Yes.
I would definitely grab
Massage.com.
the storm before the
.com.
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 The storm before the .com.
Yes. See? Easy peasy. We could just, it's like making money over here with these ideas.
If only.
Yeah.
Skinny, if only.
Ideas are so cheap, friends. You could take any one of these and go make your millions. And then just jump in on our Patreon or something and throw in. Everything good?
Yeah, I think so.
You were scaring me there for a second.
Well, I'm concerned, but we'll worry about it later.
All right, as long as you're feeling mostly okay.
Yeah, we'll have something there.
Okay. Are we recording today?
We're recording, just not on two channels. If you look back over there, one is very almost
okay. We'll get it sorted out.
So.
We'll just take that one channel and double it up.
Yep.
Take that frown and turn it upside down.
If you're hearing us this week only in your left ear, we apologize because we only noticed it.
Sweet nothing.
26 minutes into the.
Oh man, is it 26 minutes? Okay, well we should get going into the riddlings
This is
here.
a game we like to play. It takes a two-part trivia-based question. Requires a two-part overlapping answer, overlapping by word, syllable, sounds. So, for example, last week, our episode, we covered the idiom back burner, putting things on the back burner, and we left you with this little nugget of riddlinkness. Rural Australia is unimportant to them. Rural Australia is unimportant to them. Now, this was your riddlink. Do you remember the answer?
I'm going to go with Outback Burner.
That's it. It's not Outback. It's not Back Burner. It's Outback Burner.
Perfect. Well, I've got a couple prepared.
I got a couple prepared.
Okay, here we go. Village Idiom children, chime in as fast if you can beat Jurassic Mark on these. Power to you.
I doubt it.
The tranquility before busyness with Thor's axe. Whoop. The tranquility pre-busyness with Thor's axe.
Well, the calm before the storm, and Thor has an axe, or are you referring to his hammer?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about his axe.
He has an axe?
He has an axe.
Is it calm before the storm hatchet?
Not too bad. His axe is called Stormbreaker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, he does have a hammer, but he also has an axe. Have you not seen the new Thor one?
I don't think so.
Love and Thunder?
No.
Oh, you got a couple of scenes. Amazing.
Is it good?
Yeah, because he has an axe. and it's jealous of the hammer.
Oh, that's great.
And so it floats around, like, so if the hammer gets too close, and the next thing you'll see the axe, like, leaning into the scene.
Does he behave badly?
And he talks about it in a romantic way. It's hilarious.
Oh, I thought he would like come out in an angry way as behaving like a bit of
okay, you got one for me?
axe. Yep. How about this? 50 First Dates is an example of this genre preceding a hurricane. 50 First Dates is an example of this genre preceding a hurricane.
Yes. That's a rom-com before the storm.
That's it.
Oh, I like it. Okay, I got another one here. Famous child in the middle of Peace Before Mayhem. Famous child in the middle
Oh, I got it.
of Peace Before Mayhem.
I'm like, famous child. Like, I have to know their
Famous
siblings?
child in the middle.
That's got to be Malcolm Before the Storm.
Is it? Yeah. I was stretching it a little there.
Malcolm Before the Storm.
Malcolm.
Well, I got one more, but why don't you tell everybody how they can literally play along?
Village Idiom children, we would love to hear from you on Instagram at the.village.idiom or email us thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com, or whether it's the Facebooks, the YouTube, or the X at 3 Minutes Gone.
Beautiful. This is the one I got for you. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Peace ahead of a cyclone is Lucas's white-suited soldiers.
Brilliant.
Peace ahead of a cyclone is Lucas's white-suited soldiers.
Where's my nerds at?
Where's my nerds
And
at?
that is 3 Minutes Gone. Fun. Well, it's good putting that together. I hope your day is amazing. There's been had a couple glitches with some adjustments in some podcast internals. So if you're watching or listening to it, whatever your podcast app is, Yeah, everything should be sorted out now. So.
And thank you to those who took the time to reach out and let us know, because sometimes we don't catch it right away.
Yeah,
so.
there was an adjustment to how things are categorized, and it was it wasn't proceeding till that got fixed.
Stopped our posts.
Yeah, so we got all that sorted out. So back on for John. Enjoy it on whatever podcast app you enjoy. I'm Skinny.
I'm Jurassic Mark.
And these are the Village Idioms.
The last 3 minutes gone.